My name's Kevin O'Brien. People are from the Co-Reg Mary-Mer of the Torres Strait. I did a Masters of Philosophy by Design in the Architecture School, finished in 2005, and that followed on from an undergraduate Bachelor of Architecture. That was in 1995. There was two specific areas of expertise that were available. One was within the Aboriginal Environments Research Unit in the School of Architecture, and also its ability to enable me to bring in Indigenous architects from outside the country to help supervise my work. The experience of being a postgraduate student during that process in the first year or two is very confronting, and it was confronting for two reasons. And the first being that you're really pushed to bring your ideas and your way of thinking to bear in I guess, an education system that probably finds it a bit difficult to locate Indigenous knowledge into that. The second, I think, was that the topic was squarely about architectural design, and the way we're taught that at the University of Queensland is very much as a derivative of things from Europe. So you've got an immediate culture clash, and that was the thing that was quite tough to reconcile. The best support I got from UQ was, apart from the school doing all they could, the architecture school doing all they could to facilitate getting an Indigenous architect from New Zealand across to help me, was also the Aboriginal unit at the university, and also being able to speak to the likes of Michael Williams, who sort of just reassured me that you shouldn't forget about your knowledge and your Indigenous culture, that you actually bring that to bear on the way you think in your area of expertise. So that was a massive kind of game breaker halfway through the study, because it got to a point where I seriously considered just leaving it, because it just felt like I couldn't get this other way of doing things. So that conversation with him was a life-changing moment. I think it's, since finishing the postgrad work, it's assisted my career in probably two ways. One is specifically as an architect, in that to be able to kind of work at, I guess, the more skilled end of the profession, that you really need to have a clear idea of what your identity is before you can start designing anything. So it's sort of the nature of the creative process. I think the second is just as a person, and being aware that that your own Indigenous knowledge is a way into a lot of things. You can actually use it in the same way that any other culture would deal with whatever the issue is in front of them. So that's effectively opened other doors, and I now sit on a series of boards throughout the state working with outside my area of architecture, but just within this area of ideas, and that's been quite a engaging thing to do. The only advice I'd have for any prospective Indigenous students thinking about postgraduate work is squarely to not forget about their identity and their culture, and when things do seem to be hazy, to come and talk to other people that have gone through that door already.